What up, everybody? It is Aunt Jemima up in your grill today, and we going into, I don't even know what, Prestige 6. That's right, Poseidon Triton mode, son. You know what's up. You know what it is. That's right, I hit that Prestige button. What you know. I can't get another creative class. That's some bullshit. I want 12 creative classes. Alright. So, today we're going to talk about, what do I want to talk about? I think we're going to talk about the shootings in Connecticut. That's right. The shootings in Connecticut. And it's not really about that, but it's about everything that has come from it. And it's going to be funny because I'm telling you all this as I'm playing a violent video game. A lot of the things that have popped up ever since the shooting the other day is, first of all, the fact that we should now ban the Second Amendment. And the other one is all of the hate that has come up from video games. And there have been a lot of soccer moms protesting the standing out front of like GameStops and stuff, like with picket signs, and just in general rioting in front of these video game stores, saying that they should just be chastised for selling video games to children. And I don't know, that really just kind of irks me for the fact that I don't know, they don't really recognize that it's not really what they're doing. I don't know, I'm having a hard time saying it. Really, it's not them selling games to children, because even if you want to bring up the argument that that video games make kids more violent, which I for one think is bullshit. I'm going to say that right now. I think that's bullshit. But if they really want to go that route, then the game store is not the one to complain at. Not even the game makers. The person to blame is the parents buying the games. If your kid is 12 years old and the game has an M on it, that ESRB rating is there for a reason. You don't buy your kids a game where you're running around ripping people's heads off. Unless, you don't care. That's just the thing. See, when I first got my Xbox, I think I was about 14 years old, and one of the first games that I wanted was Gears of War. I had never played a shooter really before. I was always into racing games and Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, all that jazz. And I just kind of decided, I want a shooter. So I ended up getting Gears of War 2 for Christmas that year. And first thing I notice is how ridiculously brutal that game is. If you haven't played it before, which, I mean, honestly, you probably have, but if you haven't, that game is really, really fucking brutal. And honestly, there were a couple times that as a 14-year-old that had generally a decent maturity rating, whatever, honestly, I kind of sat there and said, I probably shouldn't be playing this. This is like a little bit outside of my age range. Other kids my age should probably not be playing this game. Yeah. Spawn killing, son. You know what it is. And, I mean, it's the parents to be blamed there. And one of the biggest issues nowadays is just that parents seem to be, this generation that we have, that we're growing up with, is the kind of generation that hasn't gotten blamed for anything. Any problem that has ever been had is now put on the source, so to speak, and not the ones doing the problem. If they get bad grades, you hear about it all the time that the parents will just go to the teacher and say, my kid's doing all this stuff. You're the problem. You're the reason he has bad grades. He does anything wrong in school, it's the teacher's fault for punishing him and not other way around. And that's kind of how this generation was brought up. And it's just being brought over into basically anything where, like with this situation, where, it's not our fault for buying our kids these games. And in fact, now I'm going to go and protest in front of a store because they sold me a game that I was buying for my kid. and it happened to be inappropriate for kids. That's complete bullshit, honestly. And so I mean that's my take on the whole video game thing. It's just there's a lot to be argued about that. The other half, of course, is the Second Amendment rights, and this is a really just awkward thing to talk about sometimes. But honestly, I believe, of course, that we should definitely not loosen or not strengthen our laws towards guns and ban guns or anything like that. We should definitely. It's tough because if we were to ban guns, of course, criminals are always going to be able to get their hands on weapons. No matter what, nothing is ever going to stop them. The only way we would ever be able to completely stop anybody from being able to get a hold of a gun is if we literally not only stop production of weapons, but which would cripple military. Oh, check out Twilight to Sparkaroo with his diamond Shikam. Yes, son, get at him on MySpace, Twitter. You know what's up. But not only would it cripple our military system, it would also just... It would just words. You would also have to go and take any guns that have been made already, and you would have to destroy them too. That's what it comes down to. I mean, it's not plausible. It's not plausible at all. And it would have to be like a worldwide ban, because then you'd also have to get into the fact that now we're just going to have them shipped to America via black market. They'd be smuggled into America, and someone would get a hold of them. Basically, all it comes down to is the fact that, how the fuck did he kill me? Oh my god. Wow. Just, it would come down to the fact that if anybody is crazy enough that they wanted to shoot up a place, they would find a way to get a hold of the necessary weapons. On top of that, there's also the fact that you can always just get a hold of some sort of weapon. You don't need a gun. Say someone brings in a machete and, starts massacring a class one by one. It's going to be slower, there's going to be less numbers, but there's going to be more torture. So what's worse? Are you going completely off of numbers now, or are you really honestly, that seems pretty bad to me, because watching your own class, even if he killed one, this is just for instance, if he was to kill one student in each classroom, watching that one student slowly die painfully from some sort of severed limb would be absolutely gut-wrenching. That would hurt, that would cripple the way I would be able to live my life, having to see that. So honestly, any sort of weapon would suffice for a school situation, which is kind of scary for one. But and second, the whole thing is, in my opinion, that really school shootings are kind of terrifying in the fact that no one can defend anything. No one's allowed to have any sort of weapon in the schools. No knives, no guns, no anything. The only thing that anybody would have to defend themselves would be the closest blunt object that they could grab. And if someone brings in a gun because they don't follow laws or rules, let alone, there's nothing you would be able to do to defend yourself. So it just comes down to the fact that if someone's going to break the law, no matter what, they're always going to find a way to break the law. They're not going to obey whatever rule that you set in, no matter how strict you think that rule is. Drug dealers still deal drugs. Back when prohibition was a thing with alcohol, it was still being made and it was still being sold. It's never anything that is put a ban on is never going to stop. It just comes down to that, and that alone, really. And I don't know. Kind of the whole other thing is, really, back in the 70s and 80s, this was never a thing. You know, I think you might have heard of like one school shooting like a year, maybe. And now it's like a race to see who can shoot up more schools faster. Like we're such a generation that's like bent on finding a way to get attention that we are down to the point that we are just going to shoot up a school or kill ourselves to get that attention. And that is insane. You know, there's so many kids committing suicide now just so they can be famous. And that's all it really comes down to. Oh my god, look at all that shit in the air. You know what I mean? This is kind of the generation where really, like, we grew up. Not really we grew up. We are the ones that, like, started the whole trend where at least half the kids I knew cut themselves for attention. You know, like I said earlier, we are, like, the generation of the attention deprived and, like, hungry, ridiculous kids. And it's coming to show even more as we're growing older and getting a hold of whatever we want. And it's crazy imagining all of that. That ties into another topic, which I'm going to get into next time, which is the end of the world. But, yeah. That'll be another treat for you. This is coming to an end. This is actually a really close match. I don't remember if we won this or not. Sorry, this is post commentary. I probably should have told you that. But we won. Oh my god. We won. Holy shit. This match was intense. Yes, Ben, we won. Oh my gosh. And you went like 34-20 or something like that. Good job, Benji-kun. I'm proud of you.
Good job.
This was Elder Misanthrope by the Rainbow Dash, and I'm signing out. See you guys later.